Your mom was a leader and a founder of the organization, and a lot of the values that she instilled in the organization are still thriving today.
And I really learned that work ethic and the value of customers, the value of people from, a really young age, because I had great mentors and role models.
Yeah, to me, I think I've gotten to a point in life, maybe it's age or wherever, but it can be excited or happy even in crappy times.
You can, because life is about moving forward and finding joy and realizing the good that there is.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Jason here. Welcome back to another episode of the Love Local Chicagoland podcast. I'm excited to introduce you to Andrea Biwer today from the Schaumburg Business Association. She's the new president, probably about 4 months in right now, and a really awesome person. But before I go any further, I want to just give a shout out to Royal Family Real Estate. It is a sponsor of today's show. They are going to be the #1 brokerage in Schaumburg. Royal Hartwig is a visionary in his own right, and he knows real estate, and he has a great team to be able to support him, to be able to help him give client satisfaction. So appreciate you, Royal, for loving on us, and we love repping the gear. But today, I want to introduce you to Andrea Biwer, my friends. She has a long history with the Schaumburg Business Association, and she's got tons of energy that brings a positivity to the room when she walks in. So enough of me talking. Let me introduce you to Andrea Biwer. Thank you.
Hi, Jason. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be on Love Local. This is so cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited to interview you. You gave me an opportunity to be on your show, Schaumburg Speaks. So I guess you're a podcaster too. I should have said that at the beginning of it. You are, but you had me on your show, Schaumburg Speaks, which is, I think you're doing a great thing just by helping amplify the voices of the businesses and the community members of Schaumburg. It's a needed platform that you're meeting people where they're at. So good for you on getting that going, and we'll talk about that a little bit more later. But I'm excited for our listeners to get to know you. So
can't wait.
If you can, just introduce yourself to our listeners.
Sure. Well, I'm Andrea Biwer, the president of the Schaumburg Business Association, and just super excited to be here. Been there 3 months, and looking forward to this journey for sure.
Yeah, it's nice to have you here. I talk about your energy, and it's there's a positiveness to you when you walk in the room, and you feel that, and it might have something to do with your smile. So,
I appreciate that.
I think that's important, especially in these type of times, to bring a level of joy into a room is awesome. So, you have a great career span of serving in the local community, in helping businesses and nonprofit leaders thrive. Can you tell our audience a little bit about your history?
Sure. Well, my journey actually began in Schaumburg, believe it or not. When I was in high school, I'll even go way back then, I worked for a la carte entertainment, which is now Moretti's. It used to be Snuggeries, so started working there. I was promoted to be promotion manager back in the day and helped do cocktail parties. And anyway, from there, I transitioned out of that environment and got into the hotel business. And actually, my second official adult job, I was director of sales. I got hired super young as director of sales of 2 hotels, and it was the Hampton Inn in Schaumburg and the Hampton Inn in Elk Grove.
Awesome.
So, back then, worked in the hotel industry for years and actually moved to Atlanta, lived there for a couple years, and then came back to the area and still continued hotel industry. And then I actually got the opportunity and got hired to work for the Chicago Convention and Tourism Bureau in 1997 as in charge of their hotel program, which at the time was called One Stop Chicago. So I did the hotel program for the city of Chicago for 7 years.
Oh, wow.
And from there, hotel industry, and then I started having kids and made the transition into the Chamber of Commerce, actually working for a Chamber of Commerce. My first one was the Schaumburg Business Association.
It's a heck of a first one to be a part of.
Yeah, well, I actually was part of the Schaumburg Business Association long before, and other chambers long before, through my family. My mom, who actually back in the day worked for NASI, for those that remember that, the Northwest Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And in high school, I used to
It's a heck
golf
of a hyphenated
outings.
name right
I
there.
know,
Yeah.
it's crazy. And then she actually worked as president of Greater O'Hare Association back in the day, too. So really, from 16 on, was familiar with the chamber world and had the opportunity of being part of this magic in the area.
Yeah, it's awesome. It sounds like you come from like a level of like service mindedness. When you're in a hotel, you're serving people that are from all over.
Always. Yeah.
But when you're working for a chamber, you're serving the local businesses. You're serving those nonprofits.
So true. I mean, the one thing that I know, even as I go back to the first job, actually, if I really, really go back to the first job, my father owned a drugstore, and as a kid, 12 years old, we used to work at his drugstore, and, we had a way of greeting the customers. Customer was always right. I mean, just a different mentality than it is today. But I really learned that work ethic and the value of customers, the value of people from a really young age, because I had great mentors and role models throughout my whole life.
It sounds like your mom's a pretty impactful woman.
Yeah.
I never had the opportunity to meet her, but just to hear the stories about her.
Yeah, she's
she has an
incredible.
Award named after her for Woman of the Year, which
She does.
that says
Lori
a lot.
Stone, yeah.
That says a lot. So,
Yeah, but super fortunate. So just, grew up with serving people, working with people, and always was a people person. So it just was a good thing for me to transition into this.
Totally. How so working in the service industry, you worked at Schaumburg Business Association. After you left Schaumburg Business Association, what was your time look like there? What did you do?
Sure. So I worked for the Schaumburg Business Association as their event director for 5 years. Actually,
That's a Kaylee now, right?
Yeah, that's
Right.
Kaylee. She's fabulous.
Indeed.
I want to say I was probably around Kaylee's age too when I did that position over at SBA. But anyway, so worked for SBA as their event director. Ended up leaving there. I got the magnificent opportunity to work with my mother hand in hand for 7 years. So we had we didn't call it Savour back then, but it was a wine tasting. We moved to the Manulife Financial Building when I was there. So did that. But from there, I transitioned as Vice President of Business Development for Greater O'Hare Association, which is a regional chamber in the area, and worked there for a couple of years. And Daily Herald came a-calling. I got the opportunity through the years of working very closely through them, and they were launching their event division. So I ended up leaving Greater O'Hare to help launch the event division with Daily Herald and was there 7 years. And we did event experiences, and it was wonderful. I got to work with Eileen Brown and many people that are part of the chamber today, and Scott Stone and Doug Ray, and it was a magical time. But the chamber and working in the service industry was a calling, and was at the Daily Herald again for that long. And the Des Plaines Chamber of Commerce and Industry actually lost their executive director. She passed away, Barbara Ryan, and they were going through a transition, and they were looking for somebody new to take over and kind of transition that chamber. And I was fortunate enough to be hired by them. I was with Des Plaines Chamber for about 8 years, where we really transformed that chamber and did new logos, office moves, created some interesting programs, and worked there for a very long time, and just got back into the industry that I loved, that I was born and raised in.
Yeah, it's really in your blood. Like that's,
really
not
is.
everybody could say that, but you definitely can. When we were prepping for this, I asked you. I said, "What do you want people to know about you and your beliefs as a leader?" And you mentioned empowered, grit, and excited. Can you tell me why you said these and why they're important to you?
Well, you mentioned even earlier about my energy. I've always had that. To some people, they probably love it. To some people, it's a lot. But, get excited when I have the opportunity to help people. I mean, really and truly, and that's always been in my soul, in my blood. So being empowered and I get energy from others. So that's why the Chamber of Commerce industry.
You're an extroverted soul.
I'm an extrovert. Yeah. Oh, for sure. I'm probably on the spectrum of extroversion. I am. But I still have those introvert moments, sure, and like to relax and, be by myself sometimes with family. But truly, the empowerment, comes from the people and the relationships that I've built. The grit really comes from hard work and always having to work hard my whole life, which is a great thing. But the grit of never wanting to fail and always wanting to continue to help people. Yeah, and life's happened. I mean, it's definitely all these jobs and all these relationships, come from many years and lots of experiences along the way.
Yeah, it doesn't mean it's easy, and sometimes you gotta, put your head down and go.
Yeah, you just go.
Yeah,
you go.
And when you could do that with excitement, you go back.
Right.
You mentioned it earlier, like you feel it is a calling of sorts to work for the association or a chamber of sorts. And,
it's and
I could feel that from you.
I do want to say something, and it's funny, when we talk about that grit and that excitement. What I always used to say is some people are like, Andrea, you have a lot of energy, and you're always happy or this, and I always want to say to them, I'm running an organization. I'm in the people industry. Would you rather have me be, hi, how are you, welcome? Yeah. No, you want somebody around you that's going to make you feel comfortable, that is going to bring that excitement and magic into the room so you could feel that, and that could help you with whatever it is that you want.
Yeah, no, I love that energy. To me, I think I've gotten to a point in life, maybe it's age or wherever, but I could be excited or happy even in crappy times.
You can. Like, there's always good.
There's always good. There's always something to be grateful for. Life's just part of the bad stuff too, during times, certain times. So you have a long-standing career supporting local businesses and nonprofit leaders. To you, what makes a great organization?
What makes a great organization? Hands down, the people. Whether it is the team that works for you or works with you, or it's the members, the people that are part of the organization that makes that thrive. It's not the leader, it's not the president, it's not the chairman of the board. We're just there to follow the direction that our members and the people want us to go in to help them, in their career or with their business.
Yeah, it's a big job to go after too, to bring local businesses together. And to me,
especially the variety of businesses.
It's a variety of businesses,
different
but
needs. Yeah.
There's a few different communities in my life where this quote matters, but I definitely feel with Schaumburg Business Association is like, if you want to go fast, go by yourself. But if you want to go far, go together. And there's, I joined in June of 2020. I'm now an SBA ambassador, but I can honestly say, like, looking over the last 4 or 5 years, the people that I've met in that organization, for one, they have that vibe of like, we're stronger together, and we could do things, to help people in our local community if we're all do this together. And we support each other's communities. It's pretty cool to see. And like the hub of that community is the Schaumburg Business Association. And a lot of us have little communities on the outside of it that where we get together and we support, local nonprofits. Like,
what's so interesting, Jason? So my mom founded the Schaumburg Chamber of Commerce with herself, the mayor, and the city, obviously with Mayor Larson, and several business leaders that are still a part of it to this day. And what we have now is what they dreamed of when they founded this organization in 2001. And I remember because I was part of it when this was founded. And it's never left. Schaumburg really has some magical people and support in it. So it's exciting to see, and it's exciting to be back here to see what was started in 2001. That legacy has still continued all these years, 25 years later.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
That's why you build
Over
things.
20,
That's
yeah.
why you build things, right?
Yeah.
So that they're,
Yeah.
that's your mark on the world. And
Right.
now, think of the impact that's been made because they had a dream.
They did, and,
You know,
look at where we are today.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So it's super exciting, but it's been magical from back in the day to now.
Yeah. So you're back. This is kind of cool. Like
Yeah.
you have a long history. Your
Do.
mom is a founding member. Like that's no joke. The community's doing what it was built to do to help people thrive together as local businesses and as local nonprofits. When you got the call, or when you heard that you got that the position was open for the SBA, what was your initial reaction?
Well, it was kind of interesting. I not only got a call saying that, hey, this position is open. I think when all is said and done, I probably got 40 calls from different people saying, Andrea, it's your time. You need to apply for this. And,
That's
Des
humbling.
Plaines,
Yeah.
it was. And it was very humbling. But Des Plaines was a wonderful time, and that chamber, incredible people. But when I always knew in the back of my mind, always from back in 2001, that I would be back here and I would be running this Chamber of Commerce as their president or serving. So it came, and I felt like it was time. I felt like it was time, and I felt like it was my time to get this opportunity, and I was ready for it. So I was super excited.
Did you do a jump, like a little click of the heels?
Well, no,
that?
because obviously I knew that there was probably many other people that they were talking to that were fabulous that could lead this organization as well. But I knew that it was my time. I just knew it, and had the opportunity to talk and with the search team, and I just felt it from the get-go. And but it's kind of one of those things, you can interview for a job and you could think it's your time, but until you actually start and you're in it, that's when you really know.
Yeah, it's surreal kind of before.
It's surreal. So I was super excited and got the position, and then obviously now we're going on to the start of my 4th month, and couldn't be happier.
How does that feel? Like 4 months in?
Okay.
Yeah.
So anytime you start a job, and that's what and I've started a few new jobs. Obviously, that transition as to work with a new team, with new members, a new board of directors, is a transition. But literally 1 week, 2 weeks into it, I saw. For me, I need to see the path, and I need to see if I can make a difference. And I felt it from the get-go. I felt the support. I felt the love. I felt that it was the feeling that I thought it was my time. I actually felt it. And literally, a lot of people start a job and they don't. A week into the job, they don't have the biggest event of the year. We did, which was our Toast to Schaumburg. 1 week
not even
into
a month in, right?
No, not even. It was like a week and a half. So
that's where I met you.
I met majority of the members that were there, and they got to meet me for the first time when I was up at the microphone, giving the Lori Stone Award, my mom's award. But I have to say, 4 months into it, I'm so excited to be here, and I see that path. I see the goodness in our membership, and we're already starting to make a difference.
All right, Andrea, you have a deep-rooted history with the SBA. Your mom was a leader and a founder of the organization, and a lot of the values that she instilled in the organization are still thriving today. Some would even say now more than ever because of what she did with other founding members. How do you think that having that as your family legacy has influenced you and your leadership style as you come back to the Schaumburg Business Association?
Well, it's definitely influenced me. I was so fortunate, again, to be raised by, my mom, Lori Stone, and got to see a lot of strong work ethic. And it is absolutely my pleasure, and I'm just so humbled by this opportunity to get to continue my mother's legacy, Mayor Larson's legacy, Brian Burke with Links Technology legacy on what they saw in Schaumburg. Again, I was fortunate because I did work with all these people for years and still continue, to work with some of them and, see my mom. So I feel like the legacy is going to follow me, and we're going to continue what they started and even move it forward if, that's possible. Life is about evolving and changing. And, as long as you have a strong foundation, which we are so fortunate that we got when SBA was launched, but it's through our members. It's through members like yourself. It's through so many that will be able to keep that legacy alive. And again, it's my pleasure to be able to lead the organization while doing this.
Yeah, no, I think it's beautiful. And I think, what they built 20 some years ago is really needed nowadays. Like, we need to come together, and support each other. I didn't know. I joined the Schaumburg Business Association when I was 20 in 2017, but I just paid my dues every year, and I never really put in the work. And once I started putting in the work, the relationships that I built are lifelong friendships, and there's business partnerships, there's business collaborations that come out of that just makes life more tolerable. And it's, what were you going to say?
Well, I'm looking at your shirt and I see the Royal family. Yeah. I remember when I was there, Royal was a member and he was starting out with his real estate company, and he's still involved to this day.
Yeah.
We might be a few years older and our kids are, older, but it's just people like that just...
you guys look the same age, though. I want to make sure that we're clear on this.
Yeah. Oh, you're so listening. Nice. Royal and I will say differently. But and again, we had that magic back then. We had the supportive members back then, and I know by experience how supportive they all were. And as we look to the future, you all are, just continuing on that legacy.
It's exciting, but it starts somewhere, Right. You talk about Royal, and Royal's a great businessman. He's been growing over the last 20 years, probably since you've known him, to now where, Royal Family Real Estate most likely be the #1 brokerage in Schaumburg.
That's amazing.
Here in the
when
near
they
future.
Started,
because of his leadership and because of his connecting, because of his collaborations with people in the community. So there's so much power in that, especially when you're coming from a culture of supportive and giving and wanting to help each other. And you have a story that, to me, just puts that in action. Yeah. And I would love for you to be able to share Lily's story if you could.
So many people don't know this about me. So I'm a proud mother. I have a 32-year-old, I can't believe it, 32-year-old son. I'm a grandma. They 18-month-year-old grandbaby, but I also have a 15 and 16-year-old. But for those that were members of the Schaumburg Business Association back in 2007 and 2006 when I worked there, I do have a story. And actually sharing this story will I feel like will encapsulate what Schaumburg Business Association is. So in 2006, I was recently remarried, or 2005, and we were expecting a baby girl, our first baby girl, and I was doing the events. Good Morning Schaumburg, I remember Divine Signs, Links Technology, they're all members. Still are members today.
Still are.
And anyway, I was pregnant with my second baby, but my first daughter, and I actually named her after my mother. Her name was Lily Hopestone. The membership was with me every step of the way throughout this whole pregnancy. And to make a long story short, or a sad story short, I worked up until 2 days before I was set to be induced, and it was my last day working at the SBA office, and 9 months pregnant, and the baby that I felt in my stomach always moving and eating stopped moving. And everyone's like, just call the doctor. And the doctor said, call the doctor. I'm like, something seems kind of weird. And I ended up losing the baby. And I ended up having a full-term stillborn baby. But I'm not saying this for everybody to be sad hearing this story. I'm sharing this with you of the amazing support. When you're pregnant and everybody knows about it, all the businesses, we had over 600 companies that were members of the SBA. I have to say that losing a baby is tragic, but the fact that my SBA family at the time in 2007 all rallied behind me and all rallied behind my mom and rallied behind the office because it was a major loss. Everybody was through this pregnancy.
So loss for the baby. There's a grief for the baby. There's a grief. There's a lot of emotions
so there's a lot
there.
But I will say, so that happened. I ended up going back to work, obviously, took that time to grieve and ended up going back to work. My first event was a Good Morning Schaumburg. And everybody rallied behind me. And that was hard. That was a hard experience. But I will say, when we talk about grit, determination, finding joy, I will tell you I found joy later because of the rallyingness of the members behind me, making me feel comfortable, making that transition back to work. I ended up getting pregnant again. And while I was working for SBA, after I lost Lily, I ended up having Leah exactly almost a year to the day later.
Beautiful.
Of coming back to work. And then I ended up having Chase a year after that. So, comes a tragedy, comes amazing joy and amazing happiness. So I could say the legacy, why I'm sharing this with everybody today, is the fact that my mom's legacy of starting this organization with several business members, and SBA is not just a business organization. It's not just a networking, everybody looking for business passing. It's a family, and it is like that. It was like that then, and it's like that now. And through the support of each other, we could help each other and help grow our businesses and help tragedies turn into positive things.
Yeah, the community comes together to
it
support
does.
during
Still
tragedy or to hard times. It still does.
Good times, too.
I could only imagine going through that type of experience would be, but even the smaller things that I've gone through where people come around and support.
Right. And acknowledging it and then moving forward because, life is about moving forward and finding joy and having that grit and loving local and, realizing the good that there is. When at times it's hard to realize that. In today's day and age, there's so many changes going on. So I just think...
But that's human right there.
It's
supporting.
Yeah.
We need more of that.
Yeah, so that's my story, but which could sound sad, and I don't mean that to sound sad. It actually was a blessing. So the Lily, the Lori Hope Stone, the blessing is look at where we are today. Look at where I am today. Look at where you are today. There's a lot of great things for the future.
There definitely is, and I think it's this reason to tell that story. And you're open to be vulnerable about it, but it's just about the power of community joining together.
Yeah.
And to be supportive of each other in good times and in bad.
And that's just
that goes back to being there's the groups within it are it's almost like family. There's a brotherhood, there's a sisterhood that can be there if you put in that work, if you go connect and meet with people, because there's good people that are there.
Yeah. And you know what, Jason, that's just my story. And I know we have several members that have been part of our association for a long time, and everybody has one. That's mine. But I guess the whole big reason, again, for sharing this is I feel that much more fortunate to be here today, to be able to give back even from that story and that support that I got to be able to move forward, support the team that works for SBA and the future and moving this forward.
Yeah, definitely.
That's where that grit comes from.
I love it. What excites you about the future with the SBA now that you're 4 months in?
What excites me? The members. The possibilities are absolutely endless. I can't even say, I can't even speak enough. First of all, I'm excited about the team. I work with 5 really great people that are work for the SBA that I get the pleasure of learning from them, because many of them, like Kaylee and Christina, have been there 8 years. So they got to see SBA in the last 8 years. And then we've got Gary, we've got Amanda and Renee. Everybody brings something unique to the table. So that's the team. But then the team is even broader. Our board of directors, our ambassadors, Sandra Sandra, Patrick. I mean, I could just go on and on. I'm just excited to get to learn and work with these people that are so dedicated to the cause of helping others and growing their businesses, of course, but also helping others in the process. That's special.
Yeah, when you do that from a giving mindset, it's really powerful.
That's how you get it. You have to get back.
I get the opportunity to sit as an ambassador this year for my first year, and my first time there, I told Dave LaSavia, who leads us.
Oh, he's amazing.
He's amazing. He's an awesome guy and heart led. But it was nice to be in the room with other people that want to do good things, because when you want to do good things and you want to go after something together to help a bigger cause, like you could really do great things. And I even look at like Coffee and Contacts this year and being a part of that and getting to know like the great speakers that are going to be coming.
Just wait. This year is going to be action packed, filled with things. Well, you know what else I think is exciting to me too along those lines is all the younger business people that, and when I say younger than me, that are now getting into this chamber and embracing it, because they say, I mean, that you hear all these misconceptions about the new young people that are entering the workforce, that they want to work remote, that they're, it's easier. It's so not true. Mm-hmm. And you could see that with the SBA. And the SBA, the younger demographic of hard workers is incredible.
Yeah. And it's, the YPN, to me is a great community within the community. It's
such a future.
Yeah, it's such a future. And I go back to we've talked about it. We'll talk about it a little bit more, but it's about investing in our future and supporting our future, because they're the ones that are going to take care of us when we're old, which we're not rushing for. Andrea, you're a podcaster too, so this is going to be 2 weeks in a row.
That's so funny calling me a podcaster. I don't think of that.
You are,
but maybe just a talker or getting telling people's stories.
You have mics, you have cameras, you have audio equipment, you have headphones, you have a script. I'm gonna go on a limb and just say you're a podcaster. Andrea.
Okay, I'll take it. Thank you. Coming from you, that is a compliment. So I appreciate it.
I think it's really needed. I think it's a great medium now, obviously, from what we built here. We believe it's a great medium to be able to amplify people's voices in our local community, and you're doing just that with the Schaumburg Business community. But just tell us a little bit about Schaumburg Speaks from your own perspective.
Sure. Well, Schaumburg Speaks, we are plugging into business and community and just trying to give the local businesses, small businesses, large businesses, a voice. Mm-hmm. Everybody, as you know, has a story. Our story is a little bit different, where we want to give them the opportunity just to talk about their expertise, what area that is, their business, or local legislative issues, or all different things. We even just had the executive director of the PGA President's Cup in, Joey Chitwood, and he's just talking about events that are coming to our area. So, we're just trying to bring business and community and just spread the message.
Yeah, I love it. And I think you're doing a great job. I think it's needed. For me, we've been doing this now, the podcasting journey, for about 3 years. And it's more like we need more people to go. There's so many people that could find value off of getting their message out and getting their story out. So us as local businesses, or us as local organizations, to be able to build the platforms to be able to help support and amplify our small businesses, each other, and our nonprofits within that. We could have stronger communities if we slow down and listen a little bit, because there's magic in that. So keep going. And I want to
say the same to you.
I'm excited you brought video to it too. I saw the cameras up there. I know you have a great team that does that. But I think that's really going to be great for you guys as you go out. And my hope is you put that thing on YouTube, because I think it'll help the organization grow, because you're really doing great things within that organization. And just as you said, the people are some pretty awesome people.
No I in team.
The
truly.
Events are awesome, right? The Coffee and Contacts, the business after hours, the leadership luncheons, the women and leadership event. There's more. Tell me where I missed off, but it's about the people that go to those things, and what we're learning about that during those times usually are things that are helping us do life better as businesses or as nonprofit leaders. So keep doing your thing.
Well, thank you. We'll try. And there's a lot of new things that we're going to be launching this year. So I'm excited for people and for our members to be a part of it. And for you all, stay tuned. There's lots coming this year. And we are growing.
Can't wait. I have a lot of favorite events, but Lemonade Day is one of my favorites.
Oh, it's coming up. Yeah.
Because of the kids. June. And for the reasons that we've mentioned here. We're getting ready to wrap up here. A couple questions that I ask everybody that comes through here. We're going through. The world is a hot mess right now. What's your words of wisdom to the people in the local community as we go through this time in history?
Have faith. As I mentioned, I have 2 high school kids, and you know what they tell me every day when I'm watching the news and just a little bit worried sometimes about our future? They're like, don't worry, Mom. We've got this. Have faith in us. Have faith in us. I think you're a parent. I am. People like us, and there's so many out there. If we keep doing what we're doing, instilling the right values, have faith. The future is bright. The future is very bright, with what is coming up in the next generation, and I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, I love that. I would agree with you. Faith
and
is
have a voice
important.
and have a voice.
Yeah,
it's so important.
Voice, and let's double down on our kids and what truth is.
Instilling the right values, that's important to you, whatever that is.
Let them take care of us when we're old.
Yeah.
That's great advice.
But in the meantime, instill, what's important to the future. And if you don't have kids, there's many people that need mentors out there. And be a mentor and help us move forward.
Yeah, amen. I bet you there's even a Schaumburg Business Association nonprofits that you could support with. I think a bridge.
Oh my God, mentors, we have so many wonderful
I know
ones.
There's many more, but it goes back to let's be part of the solution and helping each other.
Right, not the problem.
Yeah, let's be a part of the movement forward. So thank you for that. People are looking to be able to connect with you and or to learn about the SBA. What should they do?
Sure, they could connect with me. Stop by our office at the Schaumburg Corporate Center, Suite 115N, or you could email me at abiwer, ABIWER at schaumburgbusiness.com, or just go to schaumburgbusiness.com website and you could find us there. But we're always available, phone call, stop by in person for a cup of coffee, or send me an email and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
Cool. Well, I appreciate you being on the show today, and keep doing your thing. Keep leading the organization.
Jason.
Keep doing Schaumburg Speaks and
Ditto.
amplifying the voices of the local businesses and nonprofits in our community. It's so needed because we are stronger together as community members. And I hope that this is just the first time. I hope I get to interview you again and for a good conversation.
I hope so too. Yeah. I love this. So much fun.
Yeah, but thanks for being on the show today. It means a lot. So, my friends, Schaumburg Business Association, if you want to have a better life, and you're open to meeting people that want to do life better, that want to work together, that want to collaborate, that want to support each other, you should check out the Schaumburg Business Association. There's events all different times a day, whether it's Coffee and Contacts, which is one of my favorites. Good Morning Schaumburg is also a morning one, but they have some ribbon cuttings from time to time throughout the day. Business after hours are usually off the chain, and a lot of great connections there. I think of women's and leadership, women's luncheon, and leadership. What is the leadership one? I'm forgetting it right now.
Women in Business. And swag.
Yeah.
God, we have Diversity Alliance, so many. Just check out our website.
You go check out your website. Go visit us. We want to see you there.
Yes, we do.
And I'm proud to be an ambassador this year as well. And I'm excited for her to bring her positive energy to this association, obviously. So, my friends, support local, love local. We're stronger together. Peace.
Thanks. Cheers.